The 992 Targa is here, and in this video we're going to look around all the key details behind the new model. But first, for historical context, we're going to look back on the entire history of the legendary open-top 911 that accounts for around 15% of total 911 sales. Let's do it. You can actually trace the genesis of the 911 Targa right back to the Frankfurt Motor Show of 1965. This design, with the roll hoop here, pretty much remained the same for 30 years. It was originally marketed as a safety cabriolet with rollover bar. The quest for an open-top 911 began with a cabriolet. Porsche tested a 911 prototype in 1964, seen here, but the project was ditched due to a lack of rigidity, not to mention increased safety requirements for open-top cars in the US market. A roll hoop design therefore was fabricated and the 911 Targa was born. Incidentally, the car got its name from the Targa Florio, a notorious race around Sicily where Porsche tasted considerable success in the 50s, 60s and 70s. The race was halted after 1973 though due to safety concerns, but not before Gies van Lennep and Herbert Müller in a 911 RSR prototype claimed victory, meaning Porsche is the eternal winner of the Targa Florio. It's fitting then that the name is still used on a Porsche 911 today. The Targa sat alongside the coupe as part of the 911 lineup from 1967 onwards, and its design never really changed from what you see here. To begin with, this wraparound glass screen wasn't there. It was simply a zipped up plastic screen, which obviously deteriorated quite quickly with time. From 1968, that plastic zip-up screen was ditched in favour of the wraparound glass screen, which later became heated. The roll bar itself was always brushed aluminium. It changed in later years by the mid-70s to a satin black design and really has kind of flitted in between ever since. The three gills on the side, they appeared in 1968. The Targa model name on the side, that was chromated and then again changed in between black and other bits and pieces throughout the years. But that is about it. Otherwise, the design of the classic Targa was pretty much the same from 1967 at its inception until 1994. With the advent of the 993 Targa in 1996, things changed quite dramatically. The roll bar was gone, replaced by a sliding glass mechanism which allowed the Targa silhouette to stay more loyal to that of the coupe, albeit with tapered rear windows. The electrical system remained for the first water-cooled Targa in the 996, though this model introduced a rear hatch for better storage access. The 997 generation then had the same design but with the lighter glass, and the Targa was now an all-wheel drive only 911, which of course remains to this day. In 2014, with the advent of the 991, the roll bar Targa was back, but it came with some key changes that brought the 911 Targa into the modern world. Essentially, the aesthetics were the same. The roll bar was back, as was the wraparound glass screen, and of course, the material hood that sat over the front two seats. The key difference with the new Targa was in its kinetics. There was no more manual removing of that roof and storing it in the frunk. The system took 19 seconds and there was a catch. The Targa had to be stationary because that glass clamshell, if you like, came back past the rear lights, obstructing the rear of the car. You can't drive while operating the hood like you can on the cabriolet, which is operable up to 50 kilometers an hour. Which brings us to the new arrival, the 992 Targa, which in simple terms melds the engine, chassis and body of the cabriolet up to the window line to that innovative roll hoop and electric roof design from the previous generation 991 Targa. Porsche says lighter magnesium elements in the roof saves a little weight over the 991, just like the 992 Cabriolet did over its predecessor, and that the laminated rear safety glass is weight optimised too, with, I quote, more powerful electric actuators used to move it. However, Porsche's quoted time of 19 seconds for the 992 Targa's roof system to fully open or close remains the same as the 991 generation before it. You can see this for yourself by timing the 991 footage earlier in my video. Like the 991, the 992 Targa has to be stationary for its roof system to be operational. The standard specification park assist system ensures the area behind the car is free from objects. Apart from that, the exterior is standard 992 fare, wide-bodied with a much wider front axle and pronounced arches over the 991, and with an aluminium body aside from the front and rear PU. The Targa is available in a range of eye-catching colours too, including Guards Red, White, Racing Yellow, Python Green or Lava Orange, with either a silver or black roll bar. Inside, you'll find an identical cabin to the 992 Coupe and Cabriolet. Powering the new Targa is the same 982 Evo flat-six engine as found in the 992 Coupe and Cabriolet derivatives, this being 3 litre twin turbocharged and producing 385 horsepower in the Targa 4 or 450 horsepower for the Targa 4S. PTM, Porsche Traction Management, is standard, as is wet mode. The variable damping, so Porsche Active Suspension Management, is also standard. The 992 generation PASM has proved a revelation to date, particularly on the Cabriolet with its stiffer springs, so we're excited to see how PASM performs on the heavier open tops Targa. 8-speed PDK is once again the standard transmission, though a 7-speed manual gearbox is optional on the 4S. This is at no extra cost by the way and includes the Sport Chrono pack. The footprint of the 992 Targa is the same as the 991 in terms of wheel and tyre widths, but the 992's rear wheels are an inch larger at 21 inches, ensuring the Targa continues the 992's commitment to staggered wheel sizes. Porsche Torque Vectoring Plus with an electronic rear differential lock and fully variable torque distribution is standard for the Targa 4S with PDK. If you spec the manual in the Targa 4S, you'll get Porsche Torque Vectoring in combination with a mechanical rear limited slip differential. That's the specs anyway, so what about performance? Well, the 992 Targa is a tenth faster to 100 km an hour than the 991.2 model before it at 4.3 seconds, and the 992 lops 4 tenths off the 0 to 200 km time at 15.3 seconds. The Targa 4S is even more sensational here. Its 0 to 100 km an hour time is 3.6 seconds. That's fully 4 tenths faster than the 991.2 Targa 4S, and is very nearly a whole second quicker from standstill to 200 km an hour at 13.1 seconds. These times are all in PDK by the way, manual will be slower. Top speed has also been incrementally improved, this despite the fact 992 Targas are between 60 to 95 kilograms heavier than their 991.2 equivalents, depending on of course whether you choose 4 or 4S and manual or PDK. Then there's cost. The 992 Targa 4S is fully 10 grand more than the previous 991.2 generation equivalent from launch, which does fall in line with general 992 pricing, despite the fact the new Targa's roof system is virtually the same. So, is it worth it? Well, this might be the fastest Targa yet, but speed isn't key to its repertoire. The Targa is more of a boulevard cruiser. The 991 generation was a beautiful rebirth for the 911 Targa in this regard, which directly impacted on values of classic roll hoop Targas. They all went up. The 992 iteration is even better looking in my eyes, but it will need to solve the 991 generation's inherent problem of aggressive wind buffeting in the cockpit past 40 mph. A manually operated pop-up wind deflector is integrated in the cowl panel frame of the 992, though this had only incremental success with the 991. And that's the 992 Targa. The stats are impressive. I'm really excited for the first drive. That brings the story of the 911 Targa bang up to date. Let me know what you think of the 992 Targa in the comments below, and I'll see you soon in another video.